Reigning world champion Marc Marquez has been out of action since breaking his arm at the season-opening Spanish Grand Prix, and there are now doubts as to whether he will make an appearance again this season. With Marquez sidelined, 8 different riders have won the 11 races so far this year, and the championship battle is tighter than ever. 25 points, or the equivalent of a race win, covers the top 4 in the championship, from Suzuki's Joan Mir to Yamaha riders Maverick Vinales, Fabio Quartararo, and now Franco Morbidelli. He's been in the doldrums in recent rounds, but even Andrea Dovizioso is within range at 28 points, while the success of Alex Rinz's Aragon couplet means he too is poised just 32 points adrift. In short, it really could go either way. With a wild ride to the end of the season on our hands, questions have ultimately been raised over whether we can blame, in inverted commas, Marc Marquez's absence for such an unpredictable and unexpected rollercoaster of a season. We don't need to tell you the 6-time world champion has dominated the MotoGP field for the last few seasons, Marquez smashing record after record with a veritable smorgasbord of untouchable performances. KTM's Paul Espargaro even claimed that the absence of Marc, aka the current best rider, means no one on the grid can truthfully know their actual pace. He said he's the current best rider on the grid, and to be without him riding here, we all cannot see the performance of our bikes at the very best level. His absence has brought into focus Honda's move to create the RC213V tailored specifically for Marquez's rather unique needs, i.e. his small but extraordinarily agile yet strong frame. As a result, the Honda is a physical machine to ride, as demonstrated by Alex Marquez's recent comments. You cannot allow yourself any rest on the bike, or you've lost a second per lap as a result. It seems Honda was aware of the limitations of its eggs-in-one-basket approach, hence the decision to sign Paul Espargaro for the 2021 season, so as to provide it with worthwhile support in case Marquez was ever absent. Then of course, Marquez got injured in 2020 instead. As well as Marquez's absence, there is the impact of the revised tyres, something Andrea Dovizioso has been at pains to point out as the actual reason for the up, down, left, right, around and around results. New construction of the Michelin rear, created to provide more grip and consistent wear, has proved a struggle for some riders and teams to adapt to, most notably Ducati, but it has seemed to have benefited Yamaha and Suzuki. While Dovizioso is adamant the lack of understanding about the performance of the new rear tyre is why the form book changes each weekend, Petronas SRT Yamaha rider Fabio Quartararo feels the tyre change is more equal for everybody. He said, "Let's say with the old tyre, I think some bikes have some positives, some bikes have some negatives, and I think that the tyre of this year is really consistent for everybody. That also means it's a strange championship." It's also fair to say that the entire grid has taken a step forward in 2020, underlined by the current extraordinary number of riders that have stepped on the podium this year. Currently it stands at 16 out of 22 full-time riders, and doesn't even include the likes of Takaki Nakagami, who sits 7th in the standings. We can also point to the competitiveness of the KTM team, especially in 2020, with both Brad Binder and Miguel Oliveira taking spectacular maiden wins, while even Avintia Racing, the actual minnows on the grid, have also been up there courtesy of Johan Zarco. Though its privileges have been removed now, KTM can partly thank their erstwhile concession team status, which allowed them to make engine changes and have the opportunity to test more. As a result, it has allowed KTM to prove itself as a convincing competitor against the likes of Yamaha, Ducati, Honda and Suzuki, but a big test will come for it in 2021 when, without those concessions, whether it can still make a big step forward. Ifs and buts make it really hard to ever conclude what would happen if Marc Marquez had been competing this year, because, well, isn't hindsight a wonderful thing? After all, as Marquez's former teammate Dani Pedrosa said, Marc is just one rider, so even if he was on the podium every week this year, there'll still be 2 other riders up there with him, the identity of whom would remain just as unpredictable as the 2020 season so far. But what do you think? How much has Marquez's absence impacted the 2020 season and led to the various winners and a wild year so far? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and do not forget to like and subscribe to Crash MotoGP's YouTube channel.